Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, we're talking about Sonic Superstars and my opinion on the game so far. But before we get into any of that, y'all are crazy. Oh my gosh, thank y'all so much. Like, the support is obscene on the channel. Like, we're already at 1.3 thousand. This is ridiculous. Thank you all very much. The past two videos have done like channel records almost. It's I feel very blessed. So thank you all very much. So putting that aside, let's talk about Superstars. So when this game got announced, it looked really cool, and I was really excited for this because this was something cool. It was different. I appreciated them doing this, and I still definitely do. I don't think it's bad or anything, but my thoughts on this game have just gotten better. Like, I've thought better of this game every time we learn something more about it. I don't feel like there's been a moment where I was like, that's disappointing. I don't feel like I've had like any of that, which is really, really weird. Like, normally you'd be like, this looks great, and it may continue to look great, but we're going to have a couple things where it's like, oh, that's really disappointing. We have not yet seen that. There is one thing that I think isn't as good as everything else, which I will get to later, but it's shocking how just like, it looks like a good game. Like, that's it. There's nothing hiding here. It's just a good video game. And I appreciate how they've learned from Frontiers' marketing with this game, because Frontiers got announced way before it was going to come out. And of course, I understand that that was because the game was going to come out a year earlier, but like, all that aside, Frontiers had a really, like, they really messed up on the marketing. And it's so cool to see that they're actually like fixing that and taking proper lessons here. And they're being super transparent about what the game is. Like, Azuka, he's been interviewed with a bunch of stuff. People ask him, what's this? Or like, how many stages? Or whatever, like all these questions. And he seems to just straight up answer all of them. There seems to be none of this, oh, well, I can't really say it yet kind of thing. I get with Frontiers, they were trying to hype it up, but like, whatever. They were super secretive with that marketing, and it just didn't help the game out much. But in this case, they're just being super transparent, and they're just being real about it, which is just so cool to see, because now we're not having to like go through 480p footage and garbage. They're just showing us the game like they should be doing. But the game that they're showing off looks incredible. It looks like a proper new classic Sonic game. And that's just awesome. And I've talked about it in other videos, and I will mention it once again. This feels like a proper evolution from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It feels like what every classic Sonic game did is that they expanded upon the story aspect of the games. Every game progressively added more narrative, and each game added a new playable character. And that all applies here. We've got more narrative, a little bit of narrative-driven stuff. We don't really know how much, but we can definitely tell that there's some little cutscenes, and there's the opening animations that we've seen already. And of course, we've got Amy is now playable as part of the main cast. So I think that they're really taking steps to make this be a proper evolution on the classic Sonic formula. And I'm just gonna drop a little hot take here. This game genuinely does more to progress the classic Sonic formula than Sonic Mania did. But there is one little caveat to that. The drop dash was the thing that like really made Sonic Mania kind of thing. I feel like that's like the one thing that game truly like that was like crazy kind of thing. But this game does feel like it's actually taking steps and striving to be an evolution of what we've already seen, which is something that I've definitely got to commend them for, and that's just so awesome. Also, one more thing I gotta talk about with this game evolving the formula. The co-op looks amazing, I'm gonna be honest. This feels like the first Sonic game that I'm like, I would like to go over to a friend's house and play this with some friends. Like, I've never had that feeling with any Sonic game. Like, every Sonic game that's ever featured multiplayer, that is always the worst way to play the game. Like, that's always a lesser way of experiencing the same game. But in this case, it might actually be more fun from the looks of it. It feels like the game was built to be more of a co-op game. I'm not sure if that was what they were going for during like the designing process, but it seems so ridiculously fluent. And one thing, I think the best part about the co-op actually is the camera. Somehow, they've really made this camera work. From all the gameplay I've seen, even if someone's dragging behind, the camera interpolates between the two characters, almost basically like Smash Brothers, actually. I mean, I love seeing this. Everyone is equally distributed on the screen. There's none of this garbage where someone's lagging behind at the edge of the screen. It's all centered right, and it fits so well. So yeah, the co-op just looks amazing, and like I was saying earlier, that really is just another thing that they're doing to evolve this classic formula. And of course, it's not like the classic games could do something like this, but it's still interesting to see that they're not just sticking to what we've already seen, and they're actually making those steps to do something bigger. So at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that there was one part of the game that I thought was lesser than everything else. And, well, it's the music, which is the weirdest thing ever. I mean, think about it. That's the one part of almost every Sonic game that we can say is always good. Like, that's the one thing that Sonic is known for, basically, is that you can go listen to any Sonic soundtrack, and you'll definitely find a banger if you go through it. Like, I don't think there's a single Sonic soundtrack. I mean, heck, even Sonic Chronicles actually has a song that's somehow tolerable. And that is hilarious to me. But that's the thing that everyone's always said. Sonic always has good music. But this is kind of weird. The music is in no way bad. I do not want anyone to misread me here. It is good music. In fact, like Speed Jungle Act 1 and that music from the flippin' multiplayer trailer, it's just gorgeous. T-Lopes has just always been good at stuff. And I would say that these are actually better than a lot of his Mania tracks. So this is good music. But why is there random Sonic 4 music? What is this boss music? What the heck is this? And then you've got some of the tracks that just sound kind of meh, and it's like, it's so strange to me. But yeah, it's so weird to me because that's always been the consistent thing in Sonic, is the soundtracks. But for some reason, this soundtrack is the most inconsistent. It's not even like a quality thing, really. I mean, some songs are bad and some songs are great, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm just saying, stylistically and in every way, these songs vary and are inconsistent, which is so out of line from what we're used to. It's just really strange. But yeah, right now, that seems to be the weakest part of the game, but I can't really make a judgment call on the game yet because these are demos that we're listening to, and all the music from the trailers has been absolutely outstanding. So right now the music seems very inconsistent, but when the game releases, everything might be brand new tracks that are good and goated and whatever. And I hope that's the outcome, but right now it's a bit weird that the actual in-game demo music is so off, if you will. So yeah, there we have it. I have of course been bragging on this game this whole time, so please tell me what you think about the game. Does it look great? Do you think it just looks pretty good? Meh? Like, where do you stand on it? I want to hear what anyone has to say. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!